ready for takeoff.
We are cleared for takeoff.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Time to take flight in your community and in your life. This is Audio Airstrike.
What's up, everybody? I'm Everett Hall-McNeill, and this is Audio Airstrike, episode 196. I want to thank you for joining me. It has been a while since we've done an episode, and I want to talk about re-energizing yourself and also taking a break when needed. This past December, I decided to take a break away from podcasting, and to be absolutely transparent with you, it was one of those things that I needed a break from my mental health, just to recharge and just, kind of focus on some other things. And I wanted to take a step back, and I wanted to, reassess a lot of things. And I always in my mind never wanted to stop podcasting. I just wanted to make it fun again. And there were sometimes I felt like I was forcing it. Sometimes I felt like I was obligated to a job. And podcasting is something that should be fun. It should be therapeutic. It should be soul food. It should be something like that. At least that's what I think. But I started not feeling that way. So I took a trip to Cancun. I did a couple of other things, and all legal, by the way. And and I just kind of re-energized myself, and I just kind of, got back into the flow of things, and I felt energized and came back. This is what this is all about. When it comes to podcasting, those of you who listen to other podcasters and stuff of that nature, it is not easy to do a podcast every week. It is not easy to be bright and bring a personality that's going to gain viewers. It is not easy. It is a marathon, not a sprint. And it is something that requires a decent amount of work. But one of the things that we cannot forget is try to have fun while you are working. Try to make it fun. You know what I'm saying? The difference between a job and a career is a career doesn't feel like a job. You know what I'm saying? So you really have to make it fun. Show your personality. Give people a glimpse. I'm not saying you got to put all your business out there, but just give people a glimpse as to who you are and something that they can identify with. And that is one of the biggest reasons why I decided to take a step back and re-energize. Folks, there is nothing wrong with taking a step back. You haven't failed. You haven't thrown in the towel. You're just taking a step back to catch a break. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with, I'm kind of feeling low. Let me take a break a bit. Like, I'll be honest with you. I was supposed to start new episodes in January. Life happened. You know what I'm saying? And I had to reassess, redesign and refocus and get things together. That's going to happen. Nothing is perfect. Nothing is going to go according to plan all the time. And it really boils down to how we react when it doesn't go according to plan. That is the biggest thing. So I decided to take a step back, reassess, redesign, and now I'm back, ready to give you all these episodes, ready to sit back over here and have more fun with it. And I feel energized talking to you guys right now. Of course, as always, we're going to bring guests in, talk our stuff. We are working on a lot of exciting things, a new set. That's coming up, and we're also working on a couple of other more interactive things as well. So we'll definitely be in touch and let our audience know as to what's going on. I want to also touch on this. There's been a lot of controversy over Joe Rogan. Folks, there was a compilation that came out of him saying the N-word on his podcast. Let me say this, folks. If you are a Caucasian person of European descent, it don't take long to research and figure out why the N-word is offensive to people, especially African-American people. And anytime you're on public media in the climate that we're in, it is not within your best interest to use that word at all. I don't use that word. I cringe when other black people use the word. So anybody that's saying I allow other African Americans to use that word, I actually let them know, hey, I'm kind of cringed out a little bit that you're using that word, knowing what it does and what it's done to people over the years and stuff of that nature. which I'm not going to get into. I'm trying to make this kind of a light episode, my first one being back in a while. So one of the things that we have to understand and assess is that you can't go around and use words that are obviously going to offend people. That obviously is a word that is triggering and offends people. This is not up for debate. It is what it is. It's the truth. Also, I need people to understand that it doesn't matter what your profession is. I hear the term comedian a lot, and comedians can pull from things, controversial things, and make a joke out of it. But I'm going to be honest with you, there is no room for anybody, in my personal opinion, to be using that word. That's just my personal opinion. I don't care if you're a comedian or if you're, especially if you're a Caucasian comedian, because, you're going to get backlash for using that word. In the climate that we're in and the sensitivity that we're in, you're going to catch smoke for saying that word. And I know that there are a lot of people that get very, very triggered and very, very upset quick due to the issues of that word. And one of the things that I do sympathize with is words are not just words. Words cause movements. Words can hurt people. Words can cause people to shift their whole life around. Words are not just words to me. If somebody says something to me that I find very, very highly offensive, they will get cut off quick. Like, there is no discussion about what I meant. There is no back and forth at a certain point. People have got to be very careful with the words they say, the way they move, and what they do. There's no room for people are getting really sick and tired of defending their humanity or their point of view all the time because of just ignorant people saying uneducated things, and they don't understand or take the time to listen. And that's a big issue. If how are you going to put out your perspective? And because somebody doesn't either understand or they don't get the grandiose of your perspective, and then you go and target them and bully them, which may go against the very essence of what you believe in. And that's something I've said multiple times on this podcast and platform, is that we can't move that way. If you enter into a space, and I'm going to use this for an example because it's something that I know wholeheartedly from experience. If you know that black people do not like white people using the N-word, just don't use it. Have respect, and we'll have respect for you. I've said this all the time. We are very welcoming people. But when you start pulling this little ignorant stuff, it's not beneficial. It's actually annoying, and then we have to kind of get away and push you off to the side. That's how it goes. That's how it goes, folks. Like, when it comes to the Joe Rogan incident, at the end of the day, you're one of the most successful podcasters, but also you're a white American male. You cannot be sitting over there throwing them words around. And also, I'm going to be honest, I'm not surprised that Spotify, while they said they didn't agree and don't condone that type of language, they're not taking him off the platform. Which brings me to Whoopi Goldberg, and I'm just kind of using an example. I'm not going to go into it, for her Holocaust remarks, where she was suspended for 2 weeks. Obviously, it's two different companies. Two different companies move how they want to move. I look at it like this way. If you're going to have people say offensive things, punish them equally. That's just my standpoint. That's where I'm at with that. So I sat back over here and looked at these situations, and I noticed that they are similar, and the outrage is similar. And it speaks to the climate that we're in, where I was talking with a buddy of mine. He said, I feel like people are just, nowadays, people are so triggered, they're just looking to pounce or find something to pounce on. And I'm not condoning the actions of what they did or said, but I think we're in a climate where if you say something that I feel is wrong, I'm pouncing on you. I'm not giving you room to have dialogue or re-education or something like that. And I said, I know what, you are right. We are in a very, very crucial time where folks are not as willing. Some folks, I'm not saying everybody, but some folks, especially in this country, are not willing to have no kumbaya no more. Because there have been so many moments where different groups of different people have wondered, is the kumbaya even genuine at this point? I've had moments, I'm the same way at times. If somebody does something offensive, does something ignorant, but then tries to have a kumbaya moment and never really apologize for what they did, what does that tell you? Is the kumbaya moment genuine? Not really. So nobody wants to feel like they've been duped. Nobody wants to feel like they're being played. Nobody wants to sit over here and feel like they're being, played like a fiddle, abused, manipulated. Nobody wants to feel that way. So everybody is pretty much got their hand on the trigger, ready to shoot before they even have a dialectic conversation, which creates a dangerous ecosystem. Because now, if you could catch a stray for one of your words getting misinterpreted. Or, and I'm off Joe Rogan and Whoopi Goldberg. I said what I had to say about them, but I'm just speaking in general now. You sit over here and you are now about to catch a stray bullet over your dialect, which you think what could happen, how stuff could go, and is it even fair at that point? And how do you navigate a high pressure, high tense environment that way? Because there's a lot of questions. It makes you wonder, is this whole cancel culture thing necessary? Is it too extreme? Do we need more room for dialogue? And if somebody don't want to, in my personal opinion, I'm going to be honest with you. I think there needs to start being conversations on, once an offense happens, a decision for a solution needs to be made. Now, granted, I'm not asking for a kumbaya moment. If I have an issue with somebody and they went past the line, I said the only thing that I could do right now is keep my distance away from you. I don't want you around me. I don't want to talk to you. This is the solution that I found that works for me. I do not want to talk to you. The best thing you can do for me is never to speak to me again. Even if that's what has to be said publicly when there's a confrontation between two people, that's a solution. Nobody got shot over it. Nobody got killed over it. They just will not speak to each other or deal with each other ever again. I can live with that. But at least there was a solution thing done that was resolved and it was rational and it made sense. It's one of those situations where at some point you can't, there needs to be a lot of, and I've talked with my friends about this, you need to have stuff defined. You need to have stuff more defined about what your barriers are, what is allowed to be said around you, what's not allowed to be said around you. And also making sure that you understand that those barriers are consistent. When we sit over here and we make sure that those barriers are consistent, you won't have as many problems, because now they know the essence of who you are, they know the essence of what you stand for, and they know the barriers and the boundaries of where not to go. That's what it is. And if somebody crosses that boundary, they got to go. I know everybody has their different points of views, and there are some things that people are taught about forgiveness and letting go in the past. And I do agree to a point. There is a moment of forgiveness and you do have to let go. However, you can forgive something, but that boundary rule is still coming to play. I've forgiven people that have done some very shiesty things. You will never see me hang out with them again, though. You will never see me talk with them again, though. I'm not breaking bread with these people. I can't trust you at that point. Once the trust is gone, and I may forgive you for it, I will never, ever treat you the same. Because now I don't trust you to have my back the way the friend does. I trust you to be a snake. And I'm not trying to start a whole bunch of stuff, but that's the way it goes. And I'm just speaking in general. I'm not mad about anything. I'm just speaking in general. But these are some of the things that people struggle with. To the point now, we're in a society where everybody's got a social comment in the form of they just ready to shoot if I hear anything triggering, because they've been hurt so many times. So the conversation then becomes, did you really let it go or you resolved from it? And it don't take long to figure out who's not over it. And I kind of also want to shift my attention and speak on this. We're 2 days away from Valentine's Day. As of this recording, we're 2 days away from Valentine's Day. And I've been getting, and I'm not going to put anybody's business out here when I say this, I've been getting phone calls, conversations, text messages of different people that I've come across that have been in relationships, been in marriages, just having a hard time. And some people have kids, some people don't. It reminds me of the Kanye and Kim situation. He wants to see his kids more. She don't trust his mental health. She blocked him from a party. He's parading around with a new girlfriend on social media and public. They're having a dispute over the fact that one of their kids is using TikTok when they shouldn't be. Those little things. And it's funny that around this time, people that I know, or some people that I know, have struggled with their relationship or their marriage. It is crazy, especially when there's kids involved. And I'm going to be very transparent. I was never the guy that was in a whole bunch of relationships. I was never the guy that was moving girls around like traffic lights. I wasn't that guy. I saw what was going on And I watched people maybe get into a relationship too fast. I watched people maybe get married too fast. I watched people really not do the counseling, and it showed too fast. And then the next thing you know, here comes a kid. They're not together no more. So the next thing of that is they're at each other's throats. The kid is seeing this. And now here goes another child that is coming up in a broken home where there's no nuclear family. And I'm not digging at nobody, but this is becoming a problem. And because I've seen the pain far up in front of my face, I know what I'm talking about. We sit over here and we talk about relationships and this and that. And I'm starting to see people, well, I've always seen it. It ain't something I started seeing. I've always seen people rush into relationships, marriages, engagements, and give it 4 or 3 years, it just doesn't work out. Or give it less than that, it doesn't work out. And now there's a kid involved, potentially, in some situations. And there's a bunch of emotions there. From a spouse standpoint, I love and hate this person now. From a child standpoint, mom and dad are not together. Here comes the stepmother and the stepdad. Got to deal with that. You don't have a nuclear family. You didn't grow up in a nuclear family. You have to deal with some of the things you might see. Now, you have to figure out how to co-parent. But if you pissed at the other person because of how it went, co-parenting can be hell. Look at Kanye and Kim. They can't get on the same page. Obviously, based on what we're seeing, they can't get on the same page. And if I'm the person that is dating somebody with kids, a la Pete Davidson, I'm going to continue to do what I do. I'm not speaking on none of that. If he disses me, I think it's funny. I'm keeping it moving. That's literally what Pete Davidson is acting like. Probably the most mature thing he can probably do. Now, people have got to understand that in a relationship, and when you make that step towards marriage, you have to figure out the ideology of what they think before you put a ring on that person's finger. You need to figure out financially what their mindset is. You need to figure out where they are spiritually. You need to figure out what they think about having kids, their medical history. Because because nowadays, I'm going to be honest with you. A person saying, I love you, and the actions really don't back it up, looks suspect. I'm not saying you have to put everything up on social media to make a point. That's a little bit immature. I'm not saying put every little thing y'all do up on social media. It's good to post of your spouse. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? There ain't nothing wrong with that. But what bothers me is that there's no sense of, I'm really trying to get to know you because I want to grow a family and I want to make sure that we're both compatible out of respect for you and me before kids get involved, before money gets involved, before we put our accounts together. Like, how do you feel about these things? these are conversations that I feel like are not happening quickly enough, and they're just not being done with a sense of urgency. It's like you flying by the seat of your pants. No, I need to know how you feel about where your medical history is at, or I need to feel like these are things that I need to know. Because when kid gets involved, finances get involved, accounts get put together. If you're getting married with no prenup, these are questions that need to be answered. Because the last thing I want to see, and I'm just saying this is a single dude, the last thing I want to see is another child not growing up in a stable home. This happens. Some people want to talk about it so they can work through it. Other people, the past is the past. I don't want to bring it up no more. And if you know that's the type of person you with, is that the type of person you want to be compatible with? Ask these questions before you become intimate with this person or before you have kids by this person. You have to know what you're getting yourself into. You have to know that person in and out. If the person's afraid to open up and you want somebody that opens up a little bit more, respectfully be like, hey, this isn't going to work for me. I ain't saying you got to ghost the guy, but just say, hey, this isn't going to work for me. I think, you know what I mean? There's ways to do things. There's stuff that has to be talked about. There's stuff that has to be resolved if you want to take the next step in a relationship or a marriage. You can't just fly by the seat of your pants, especially nowadays, because people switch up too quick in marriages and relationships. Good grief. Friendships switch up quick nowadays. I'm happy to say everybody that I'm close with, loyal, decent, no problems. Some of them a little bit extra, but I can respect that. It's baffling to me because I'm seeing an uptick, at least in my own circle, or at least the people that I'm around, at least the area that I'm in, I'm seeing an uptick where it's like, we didn't work out. And now I got this, and now I got a child with her or him. Can't stand her, but for the child, yeah, I'll go over there. I know this one married couple. They're doing great. Got kids. They're doing fantastic. Every 3 months, every 3 to 2 months, they sit down, they talk about what they're not happy with in the marriage, what they are happy with. And then they talk about the solutions. Some of you guys need to implement that simple tool. It doesn't matter if you're just talking with somebody. It doesn't matter if you're about to marry somebody or you're about to make them your boyfriend, girlfriend. Use that tool. Because that's going to solve you and your partner at the moment a serious headache later on. Because then you will get to understand and know, okay, this is what they do like. This is what they don't like. Okay, this is the resolution. And if the resolution means that you guys are not compatible and you can safely part from each other and still be respectful towards each other, even though now that's your ex, that's the perfect solution. Not all this dramatic, I hate you, can't stand you, you ain't seeing your kid, this, and that, forget you. You may think that's cool, but the child's hearing that, your friends hearing that, your family's seeing that. How many times they got to see that? You have to break the cycle. If you have a generational curse where people got kids and they ain't with their spouse no more, and that's kind of a generational curse, and there's just all this animosity, and it's like broken home stuff going on. You got to be the one to break the curse. Otherwise, your son or daughter is going to carry that on. You break it. You be the example. If you was out here moving, switching lanes, own that, but do better. Take accountability, but change your ways and do better. Don't keep on doing the same thing. You'll earn more respect if you're transparent, honest, and telling somebody, look, I was out here wilding, but this is where I'm at now. And these are some of the things that I did to help my marriage. These are some of the things that I did to help my relationship. I was willing to take accountability and work on myself. These are some of the things that we are almost afraid to do at times. Because some men got pride and some women got pride too. We don't take accountability for the role that we played in a toxic or destructive relationship. Or I should say a healthy relationship that became toxic and destructive. There has to be good communication. If you don't have good communication, everything is going to break down. You have to list out exactly what you want. Gen Z people that ain't in a relationship right now, single, ain't got no kids, write down what you are looking for. And I'm not talking about the superficial stuff, how she look, what's her hair type, what's her zodiac sign, all that type of stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. What are you looking for in a marriage? Don't be superficial. Dig deeper. If you want something where there's a prenup in place, put it in there. At least you being honest. If you want somebody that's going to stand up for themselves but not bully you, put that in there. If you want somebody that can be the nurturer in the home, put that in there. If you want somebody that will let you lead in certain areas that you want to lead, put that in there. And then go out and find somebody of those qualities. Now, if they don't have those qualities, don't waste your time or theirs. Just tell them, hey, this is not going to work out because of this is my view, this is your view, this is not going to work. Respectfully, this is not going to work out. But I appreciate you taking the time to at least get to know me and figure this out. That's all it takes. You see all this drama on social media, Kanye and Kim. The baby fighting his baby mother's brother in a bowling alley. You see all these crazy things. And what stemmed from that? Lack of communication, understanding in the relationship and marriage at that particular time. That leads to a domino effect of other things happening months later. The reason why men don't open up, because when they open up, a lot of stuff is used against them. If a man opens up to you and is vulnerable with you, it's because you have his trust. And if you do that, if you use the very thing that he was vulnerable to you with to turn around and slap him, trust is gone. And here's what you don't realize. You making it hard for the next chick. And also, you lost out on possibly a great relationship and potentially a great marriage. Because you wanted to use the very thing to hurt him to win an argument instead of understanding where he comes from and protecting him. Vice versa. Men, stop saying anything, stop saying everything to these women to get them pissed. to win an argument. Some men do that too. These women sit over there. I've watched some women pour their all to this man, and he take it for granted. And now she's scarred for life. And then the next good guy that comes along, she ain't even, because she's just dealt with so much mentally, she don't even know how to navigate. She thinking she around nothing but snakes. And it's going to take a long time for her to see the good in a man again, because you want to play games. There's all this trauma that goes on that forces people to think and cave in, and they got to put a whole bunch of armor on, because I'm afraid of getting hurt like that again. I can't afford to get hurt like that again. I can't afford to get depressed like that again. I can't afford to have these fleeting suicidal thoughts again. I can't afford to sit over there and cry at night, cry myself to sleep. I can't afford to sit over here and be a shell of myself like I was for years in this other relationship. It ain't just women dealing with that, it's men dealing with that too. Do you want to know why the marriages and the relationships that we have seen succeed work? Is because they take time out of the busyness of this world to reevaluate, redesign, and redefine their relationship and marriage. They take time to hear what the person has to say. They take time to sit over here and look at that person's eyes with genuineness and love and be like, hey, I want to figure this out. I want to work on this. I'm willing to improve on this. These are one of the things, man, that is going to propel and perpetuate you to the next level if you are looking for a spouse. I'm going to also say this. Them little sneak dish social media posts ain't bringing him back. It's not bringing her back. If anything, you are confirming that you are hurt and not over the relationship or not over what happened. Get the therapy. Do what you got to do to make yourself better. I get it. It hurt. I went through hell. I had these thoughts. It pained me. It was like a knife hitting my heart. I totally understand that and get that. I am not going to sit over here and ignore how you felt. Yo, I told her this vulnerable thing and she used it against me right in front of my family. I get it. I've seen it. But you have to see the potential in yourself, not to stay in that bitter place for years. Because it ain't just a family that's going to see that. It ain't just your friends that's going to see that. If you got a child here, they going to see it. You want that child to take on that kind of pain? An innocent child take on that kind of pain? Now, I get it. Parents can't protect their children from everything. But there's some stuff that you have to do early on to make sure they're not afflicted too early. Because now that devastation could be on them. So these are things you really got to reassess and redefine and really look at this situation. Like, I'm seeing people not communicating properly in their relationship or marriage, and it is troubling. It is crazy. Give your spouse room to really hear what you got to say, vice versa. I'm not picking no gender side. It's not a gender war. It's something we got to do together. Women, listen to what the man is saying. Stop trying to interpret every little thing to start an argument. Or trigger him. I'm talking to the women that do that. If you're a woman that doesn't do that, if it don't apply, let it fly. Men, stop calling these women emotional when they're trying to tell you how they're feeling. Oh, you too emotional. They're nurturers. When you come home from dealing with hell at work and they comfort you, don't take that for granted. These are things, see, we get so used to these things, it becomes a routine. And we get too used to it. Till somebody gets upset they ain't there no more. Then you realize, oh, I didn't realize I had it that good till it was gone. These are things that you really have to understand. This isn't a game. Take time to learn one another. Y'all should be building each other up. Have the hard conversations, but don't tear down one another doing it. And if it gets to a point that the situation doesn't work out, if it gets to the point where you've had enough, I don't know if sticking in there for the kids is the best thing. Because that's not worth a lifetime of unhappiness. I've seen people make 6 figures, hate each other to death. They'll still stick in there for the kids. Why? It doesn't make any sense. There are celebrities right now going through hell in their marriage, headed to divorce, just like Kanye and Kim. There are celebrity couples, more money in the bank than you, probably got more crypto investments than you, probably got more stocks than you, and they still dealing with relationship issues. And you want to use them as an example for what you think your marriage and your relationship should be? List out the things you want to see in your relationship or marriage and find the partner in a respectful, classy manner that you are looking for that's going to check those boxes. Now, be realistic. Don't be delusional. This Valentine's Day, if you're with your spouse and you got somebody you care about that you are proud of, honor them, honor each other. If you are single, you got time, you got more than enough time to figure out who's the perfect match for you. This has been another edition of Audio Airstrike. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day to listen to me. I have another episode coming up shortly, and we will definitely chop it up and talk more. Y'all take care. Have a good one. Check you later.